They say mirrors never lie, but last night, mine blinked. Not a trick of light, not imagination. I stood still, unblinking, yet my reflection moved. It smiled when I didn't. And now, I'm afraid of seeing myself again. I wasn't looking for anything when I walked into that dusty thrift store. I just needed to kill time. The place was cluttered with forgotten items, chipped dolls, faded books, scratched records. That's when I saw it, the mirror. It stood tall, almost 6 feet, wrapped in a wooden frame carved with twisting vines and roses. The glass was oddly clean compared to the rest of the shop, as if it didn't collect dust. What caught my eye, though, was the top right corner, a thin, spiderweb crack shaped like a flower. I should have walked away, but I didn't. The old man behind the counter looked relieved when I asked about it. He said it came from a Victorian estate, said it gave him the creeps. I should have taken that as a warning. Instead, I paid for it and brought it home the same evening. I placed it in my bedroom, against the far wall. It looked oddly regal there, like it belonged. That night I brushed my teeth, turned off the lights, and climbed into bed. As I pulled the blanket up, my gaze drifted to the mirror. For a second, just a second, I thought I saw something move inside it, like a shadow, quick and darting across the edge of the frame. I turned on the light. Nothing. I laughed it off, blaming it on the dim lighting and the long day. But the next morning, I found something strange. A fingerprint in the center of the glass. I hadn't touched it. I never even cleaned it since I brought it in. I stared at that single smudge for far too long before finally wiping it away. That evening, I tested it. I stood in front of the mirror and waved slowly, watching myself. Nothing strange. No shadow, no movement. I convinced myself that I was overthinking it. Until I blinked. And I swear, for a fraction of a second, my reflection didn't blink with me. I stood frozen, heart thumping in my ears. Had I really seen that? A delayed blink? My eyes were dry from staring too long. Maybe I blinked at a sink and imagined it. That's what I told myself. Logic is a powerful liar when you're scared. But that night, I couldn't sleep. Every few minutes, my eyes would drift toward the mirror, half expecting it to show something that wasn't me. Once I caught myself staring at it from bed, holding my breath, waiting for it to move again. It didn't. Not that night. The next day, I searched online for anything I could find about antique mirrors, especially Victorian ones. Hours passed. Most of what I found was typical internet nonsense. Ghost stories, creepypasta, poorly written Reddit threads. But one comment stood out. It was buried deep in an old forum post titled, "Objects That Watch You Back." A user named Final Reflection 01 had written just one thing. If your mirror blinks, don't look back. If it smiles, cover it. If it speaks, destroy it. I read the line again and again. It sent a cold chill up my spine. The post was from 2012. No responses, no context. Just a warning that felt like it was written for me. I checked the mirror again that afternoon. Nothing strange. My reflection mimicked me perfectly. I even recorded myself on my phone, waving and blanking in front of it. Everything looked normal. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. I began to avoid eye contact with myself in it. I'd glance sideways when walking past. I stopped using it to fix my hair or check my shirt. It felt dangerous somehow. Like the longer I looked, the more it would learn about me. On the third night, something new happened. I was brushing my teeth when I glanced up, and my reflection was already looking at me. I hadn't lifted my head yet. I froze, staring at the face in the glass. It looked like me. Same eyes, same clothes, same expression. But it was a little too still, like a photograph trying to act alive. I blinked once. It didn't blink. Then it slowly, very slowly, started to smile. Not wide, not cartoonishly creepy, just a subtle, knowing grin, like it understood something I didn't. I stumbled backward, knocking over a glass on the sink. When I looked back, the mirror showed only steam. The face was gone, but the smile is burned into my memory. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. Every creak in the walls, every gust of wind outside sent jolts through me. I left the bathroom light on. I covered the mirror with a blanket, but even then, I felt like something was watching me through the fabric. The next morning, I decided to move the mirror into the garage. I told myself it was temporary, just until I felt normal again. As I gripped the frame to move it, a sharp pain bit into my palm. A sliver of wood from the cracked edge had dug into my skin, tiny but deep. Blood smeared across the glass. I gasped, grabbing a tissue, and tried to wipe it away, but something strange happened. The blood smeared and then disappeared into the glass, not faded, absorbed, like the mirror swallowed it. I dropped the tissue and stumbled back, holding my bleeding hand. That was the first time I realized it wasn't just a haunted object. It was something more, something alive. Desperate, I dug deeper online. I searched every forum, every occult discussion board, every urban legend site I could find. Nothing specific, until I found one obscure entry in an online archive of Victorian folklore. It was a handwritten diary, translated and posted by an amateur historian. The entry read, "They crafted mirrors not to reflect, but to trap. What better prison than one's own image? The wrong mirror becomes a window, and windows go both ways. Some claim to see their reflections act independently. Others say it starts with a blink." I couldn't breathe. This wasn't just folklore. I was living it. I needed help, so I contacted the thrift store. But when I got there, the place was closed, boarded up, windows smashed. It looked like it had been abandoned for years. I walked around the side and found a faded for sale sign covered in dust. There was no record of it even being open last week. The business didn't exist in the online directory anymore. I checked the receipt from the mirror. Blank. Just the amount, no store name, no phone number, no address. It was like the transaction had never happened. Like I was never meant to remember it at all. That night, I decided to test it one last time. I set up my phone to record while I slept, facing the mirror, now back in the bedroom. I hit record and left the lights dim. The next morning, I played the footage. At 3:12 a.m., my reflection stood up, but I didn't. It just rose from the bed, turned toward the mirror, and stared back at the camera. Then it smiled and lay back down. I never moved. I deleted the footage, but it was too late. I had seen it, and now I couldn't unsee it. My reflection had moved without me. I felt sick, like something inside me was slipping, misaligned with my own body. The next few days blurred together. My eyes grew red shot. Every time I passed the mirror, My reflection felt heavier, like it watched longer than it should, like it remembered things I didn't. I started catching it doing things out of sync, blinking too soon, smiling when I wasn't, lips twitching with no sound. Then came the voice. The first time, I was brushing my teeth again. I leaned forward, and from within the mirror, muffled, I heard my own voice whisper, "Let me in." I fell backward, knocking everything off the sink. The lights flickered. When I looked again, the mirror was fogged, except for one word traced in the steam: trade. That night I dreamed of standing inside the mirror, looking out. My bedroom was reversed. Left was right. The light was dimmer, colder. I couldn't move. I could only watch as my reflection, my other, lived my life. And then I woke up, standing in front of the mirror. I hadn't walked there. My feet were bare, the blanket was still on the bed, and my reflection, it wasn't standing. It was sitting in bed, smiling at me. I screamed. My reflection stood up slowly, mimicking me, but it wasn't perfect anymore. The face looked like mine, but something subtle was off. A slight tilt of the head, the eyes too wide, the smile too calm. I turned to run, but my feet didn't move. I turned back, and it was on my side of the glass. I don't know how long I've been here. Time feels strange inside the mirror. Everything is gray, muted. I can see my room, but I can't touch it. I can't scream loud enough for the sound to break through. It lives my life now. I watch him smile at my friends, speak with my voice, sleep in my bed. But sometimes, just sometimes, someone catches it. A blink that's too late, a smile that doesn't reach the eyes. I hope someone notices soon, because every day I fade a little more. And when I'm gone completely, the mirror will be empty again, waiting for its next trade. Not every reflection is yours. Some wait patiently, watching, mimicking, learning, until you're too tired to tell the difference. And once the trade is made, no one outside ever notices, until it's too late.